Chaksura Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Shim Tadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratu Se Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna everyone, and please keep your camera on if you can, please. So we'll continue with our Kunti's prayer, which is in chapter 8 of Srimad Bhagwatam, Canto 1. We'll begin from text 27. Let me bring the screen. So Canto 1 is creation, chapter 8, prayers by Queen Kunti. Okay, so we are on text 27. Today we'll begin from there. It's very nice verse. You also can also recite. We'll try. Let's see. Okay, text 28.
I told you it was.
Okay, so please recite 1, 8, 28. No, what is, oh no, sorry, 27. So let's see. Okay, here is the text 27. There are quite a few verses, Kunti's prayer in this chapter. This is one of the nice prayer also by Queen Kunti. Okay, so everybody knows who is Queen Kunti, right?
Yeah.
It's the mother of the Pandava.
Mother of Pandava and wife of?
Wife of Pandu.
Wife of Pandu. Okay, very good. All right, so let's recite this verse. You can recite after me. Namo Akinchana Vittaya
Namo Kinchana Vittaya
Nivrutta Guna Vrittaye
Nivritta Guna Vrittaye
Atma Ramaya Santasya.
Atma Ramaya Santasya.
Atma Ramaya Santaya.
Atma Ramaya Santaya.
Kaivalye Pataye Namaha.
Kaivalye Pataye Namaha.
Very good. One more time. Namo Akinchana Vittaya.
Namo Kinchana Vittaya.
Nivrutta Guna Vrittaye.
Nivritta Guna
Atmaramaya Santaya.
Atma Ramaya Santaya.
Kaivalya Pataye Namaha.
Kaivalya Pataye Namaha.
Very good. Josna, can you recite now?
Okay. Namo Kinchana Vrittaya Nivritta Guna Vrittaye Atma Ramaya Santaya Kaivalya Pataye Namaha.
Very good. Manhar?
Okay. Namo Kinchana Vittaya Nivruto Gunavrittaye Atmaramaya Santaya Kaivalaya Pataye Nama.
Very good. Gopal, Govinda? Are you there? Gopal is not responding. Omkar?
Namo, I don't know this verse.
Okay, Gopal, go ahead. Gopal, go ahead.
This verse.
Can you recite this, Gopal? If you can keep your camera on, then I can see you. Okay, I think Gopal. Okay, so next, who is Neve? Neve, okay, can you recite the verse? Or you need help? You're on mute.
I need a little help.
Okay, do you need some help?
Yeah,
Okay, can you recite after me?
yeah.
Okay, just recite line by line, okay? Namo akinchana vittaya
Namo Kirtana Vitaya.
nivrutta gunavruttaye
Nirvuta Gunavigurtaye.
atma ramaya santaya
Atmarama Santarya.
kaivalya pataye namaha.
Kalaya Pate Namaha.
Very good try, very good try. You get a good, very nice. Okay, anybody else wants to recite?
Prabhuji, can I?
Who is this?
Omkar.
Omkar, yes, definitely Omkar, go ahead.
Namo Kinchana Vittaya Nivritta Gunavrittaye Atmaramaya Santaya Kaivalya Pataye Namaha.
Very good, Omkar. Anybody else? Gopal, who is this?
Mihika.
Yes, Neha, go ahead.
Namo Kinchana Vittaya Nivrita Guna Vrityaye Atma Ramaya Santaya Kevalya Patayeta Nama.
Very good. Anybody else? So some of the good verses we all recite, okay? Okay, so let's understand word to word, so that way you will know the meaning of the verse here. So Namaha means all obeisances unto you. Kunti Maharani says Namaha, all obeisances unto you. Akinchana Vittaya means Namaha, that is the adjective for Krishna, because unto the property of materially in impoverished. In other words, Krishna is known as a property of poor people, akinchana vittaya. So unto means to whom, Krishna, which means But Krishna is addressed here as akinchana vittaya. Unto whom? Unto the property. So Krishna is the property who are materially poor. Okay. Then nivritta means completely transcendental to the action of material modes. You all know material modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, right? So completely transcendental means above the modes of material nature. Nivritta means. And guna means material mode. Vrittaye, affection. Atmaramaya. Atmarama is one who is self-satisfied. And Santaya, most gentle, peaceful. Kaivalya Pataya means unto the master of the monist. And Namaha means bowing down. Namo Namaha, like that. Okay. So, Josna, can you read the translation?
Yes, my obeisances are unto you who are the property of materially
Impoverished.
impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material modes of nature. You are self-satisfied, and therefore you are the most gentle and are master of the monists.
Very good. So, Kunti here is glorifying Krishna. She is praying her obeisances to Krishna, but then he also saying that who Krishna is. He is the property of who? Poor people. Okay. And then he also glorifies the quality of Krishna. What is the quality of Krishna? He says you have nothing to do with action, reaction of the material modes of nature. Means the modes of material nature, right? As I mentioned to you, goodness, passion, and ignorance, right? So they produce so many miseries, right? We learned 3 kinds of miseries. Anybody remember those 3 kinds of miseries?
Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Daivik.
Very good. Who says that?
Jyotsna.
Okay. Manhar, can you repeat those 3 miseries of material world?
Adi Devik, Adhyatmik, and I forgot the third one.
Yeah, Adhyatmik, Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik.
Adi Bhautik. I forgot it. Like I know I knew it, but I forgot them. Like
That's okay. So that's why we are reviewing, repeating information, so you will remember it. So now, and someone can tell the example of each one of them. For example, let's begin with Adi Bhautik. What does that mean? What do you understand by Adi Bhautik miseries? Can you raise your hand? Anybody who knows it?
Adi Bhautik miseries probably means the mind and body.
Yeah. No. Adi
From
Bhautik.
natural world.
Yeah, Adi Bhautik is by both means any other living entity. Like,
and Adhyatmik is by the mind.
yeah, no, that by the mind and body is adhyatmic misery.
From the animals.
Yeah, from the animal. Adi Bhautik could be animal, man, anybody, any living entity. Any living entity, you get misery. You can get misery from your neighbor also. You can misery from your friend, from your relative, anybody, and like Govinda mentioned, animal, serpent can bite you. So these are Adi Bhautik. You remember Bhautik means living entity. And Adhyatmik is pertaining to our body and mind. Okay. And what is Adi Daivik refers to?
Supernatural.
Natural.
Natural disasters, right? So what kind of natural disasters can you think of?
Hurricane.
Hurricane.
Tornado.
Tornado.
Yeah, very good. So,
Tsunami.
yeah, correct. Tsunami also. So, yeah, remember 3 kinds of material miseries which we are always facing, and that is due to the interaction of 3 modes of material nature. What are these 3 modes of material nature?
Goodness, passion, ignorance.
Very good. So, and then again Kunti says to Krishna that you are self-satisfied. So what is the Sanskrit word she uses for self-satisfied? Do you see? Once
Atma Aramaya.
Atmaram. Yes, Atmaram means self-satisfied. Atma means he is just uh, complete in himself. He does not need anybody in reality. But the reason he interact with the others is for the to get the pleasure and to give the pleasure to his devotees. And he said again, therefore you are most gentle. Santaya. There is the word he is used here, Santaya in the verse. And most gentle and the master of all monists. Means it is said here that Kaivalya Pataye and Atma Ramasya Shantaya, Nivritta Guna Vrittaya. Okay, so these are the qualities of Lord Krishna. Okay, so basically Kunti is saying, I will just repeat some of the information on this verse, that you are the property of poor people who have nothing to do with actions and reactions of the material modes of nature, which means they are above the influences of modes of nature. And then he says you are self-satisfied because you are Atmaram and master of the all the sages who desire liberation. So generally, a living being renounces something for gaining something more valuable, isn't it? That is what the nature of a living entity. They renounce something to get something more valuable. Srila Rupa Goswami, there is one example given that Sanatan Goswami has one precious stone. I don't know whether you have heard of that story or not, but one person came to him because he was a needy person. He needed some money. So somebody referred him to go to Sanatan Goswami. He will help you. So he came to Sanatan Goswami and he asked for that jewel. And then Sanatan Goswami told him that there is a dustbin there, and in that dustbin you will find a jewel. So he was surprised. How come the dust, that jewel is in the dustbin, But he went there anyway and got the dustbin, and then he got that jewel from that dustbin. So he was happy, and then he was going away. But then on the way, he thought, why this Sanatan Goswami kept this jewel, which is costly, touchstone. It is actually touchstone. Why it is touchstone? Because if it touches to something, it becomes gold. So the needy person, he wanted money. So that is why he came and got that touchstone. So that touchstone, he thought that maybe that sadhu may have more valuable thing than even the touchstone. So let me go ask him. So he went back to Sanatan Goswami and he said, do you have something more precious than touchstone? Then he said, yes. Okay. Then he said, can I get it? So Sanatan Goswami, sure you can get it. But then you have to throw away the touchstone in this Yamuna river, and then I will give you that. So he has a faith in that Sanatan Goswami. So he threw that touchstone in a Yamuna river, came back to him, and then guess what did he give? Anybody can guess?
The Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
The holy
Very nice, very,
I
very.
know the story. I know the whole story. I have
Goswami gave him the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that is more valuable in spiritual aspect than the touchstone. That is how we got it. Very good. So let's move to the next verse now, 28. Okay, so here is the next verse, 28. So I will just recite. Manye tvam kalam isanam anadi nidanam vibhum samam charantam sarvatra bhutanam yan mitah kalihi. Okay, who can read it? Mihika, can you read the translation?
Okay, Prabhuji. My Lord,
I consider your lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. Dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse.
Okay. So here Lord Kunti says that, my Lord, I consider your lordship to be eternal time. So now Kunti says that, and Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I don't know if you have heard that verse, but Krishna says to Arjuna, Kalosmi, Kal Asmi. Asmi means I am, Kalo means time. Time I am. Krishna says to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. So Kunti says the same thing, that your lordship to be eternal, you are eternal time. You are supreme controller, without beginning and end, and all pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. That is also stated in Bhagavad Samoham Sarva Bhutesu. Lord Krishna telling to Arjuna, I am equal to each and every living entity. Okay. So this is what Kunti's prayer is here. So actually, Kunti concludes his realization in this verse, and then she has something else to say from 29 and on. So here she concludes with, says that, I consider you to be eternal time, the supreme controller. You have no beginning, no end. You are all pervasive. You are equal in distributing mercy, and the disagreement between living beings also due to social exchanges. That is what he says. So another name of Paramatma feature of Lord is Kal. Lord has three aspects that we realize. We remember, we learned this three term, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan. Do you remember? Right?
Yeah.
You can realize Lord in three different ways, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. But here Kunti says that there is another feature of Paramatma, which is Kal. Kal means time, okay? Means eternal time. Okay? Eternal time is the witness of all our actions, good or bad, it doesn't matter, but the time is the witness for all our activities, and thus resultant reactions are destined by him. We may forget the misdeed for which we may suffer, but we must remember that Paramatma is our constant companion in our heart with our soul, and therefore he knows everything, past, present, and future. You know, we don't know who we were in our past life, but Krishna knows it. So he destines all actions and reactions, means he gives the result of all action that we do. So without his sanction, not a blade of grass can move. The living beings are given as much freedom as they deserve, and misuse of that freedom is the cause of suffering. So we are given actually freedom, means the, but as a living entity, whatever body we are in, especially human being also, we do not use the instruction given. Otherwise, we have a freedom what to do. He has given a minute freedom, but we misuse our freedom, and that is the cause of our suffering. Okay, that is what we can learn from this text 28. So we go to next verse, which is 29. Now 29 to 31, Kunti explains mysteries or mysterious nature of Lord Krishna's birth and activity. 29, 33, these three verses, she will explain mysterious birth. Krishna's birth is mysterious, saying means, and also it is very difficult to understand Krishna's pastimes. And we will see that the Kunti mentions that how it is difficult to mention or understand his pastimes. So I will ask Manhar to read this translation, on this verse 29.
Okay. O Lord, no one can understand your transcendental pastimes, which appear to be human and so are misleading. You have no specific object or favor, nor do you have any object of envy. People only imagine that you are partial.
Very good. So here Kunti says that your pastimes appearing as human are bewildering. Bewildering means we get like astonishment, right? We will not be able to understand it. And we cannot understand by just seeing your pastime, unless we get a help from our Acharya, from senior Vaishnava, You have no object of favor or mercy. Yet people imagine you to be partial. Some people think that Lord Krishna is partial because when we see that he is giving more wealth to neighbor, then we are thinking, why Krishna give him so much and he didn't give me? And we think that maybe Krishna is partial. No, Krishna is not partial in reality. That is what Kunti is trying to explain here. Actually, Lord's mercy upon fallen soul, we all consider fallen soul, conditioned soul. Actually, his mercy is equally distributed. Means his mercy is on all of us. Like, the rain falls everywhere. Rain doesn't see lake, mountain, village, right? It rains everywhere when it rains, So it does not discriminate. So sometimes it appears that Lord is partial to his pure devotee, but in fact, he is never partial. Okay, the example is given that the sun is never partial to anyone. The sun rays are open to everyone, right? But if you want to stay in your room and close your door and window, then you will not get a sunshine, isn't it? So it's like that. So it's up to us. The mercy, Lord Krishna's mercy is there. Sun is always there. Sun rays are there. But it is up to us whether we want to take it or not. So this example is given like that. Because the sun imparts its own qualities to the sunstone, and that stone become valuable. Blind man cannot see the sun. Sun gives joy to charvak bird. Have you heard about charvak? There is a bird named charvak. And the charvak bird, when he sees the sun, he gets happy. But the owl, owl doesn't like sun. You know that? The bird, owl? Anybody? So sun is obstacle to the thieves, like people who wants to steal something. So sun is obstacle for them. Or also sun is obstacle for the owl. However, the cause of this difference is the qualities of the specific object and comes in contact with the sun. So similarly, although the Lord is not partial, different people relate with Lord in different ways according to their own qualities. That is what Kunti is trying to explain in this verse with her prayer. Describe Krishna's qualities, that he is not partial. So we will move to the next one now, text 30. Okay, so this is very nice verse also. We can say, Janma karma cha visvatman ajasya kartur atmanah tiriyan rukse suyad yadhasu tad atyanta vilambana. Very nice verse. If you want to recite, we can try. You can recite after me. Janma karma cha visvatman
Janma karma cha vesasya
Janma karma cha visvatman.
Dharma karma
Karma cha vishvatam.
Ajasaya karturatmanah.
Ajasya karturatmanaha.
Ajasya karturatmanah.
Ajasya karturatmanaha.
Tiryan nrusi suyadah su.
Tiryan rishi shuyadasu.
Tiryan nrusi suyadah su.
Tiryan rishi shuyadasu.
Tad atyanta vilambanam.
Tadatyanta vidambaram.
Very good. Anybody would like to recite?
I'll do it.
Okay, go ahead.
Janma karma cha vishvatman ajasya karturatmanaha tiryan nishishu yadashu atadatyanta vidambanam.
Very good. Anybody else?
Manhar,
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
Janma karma sa Vishwatan Ajasya Turar Atmana Teriyan Nishu Yadashu Tad Atyante Vidambanam.
Very good. Okay. Anybody else? Josna?
I think I need help with the next two lines on the bottom.
Okay, sure. I will. Just go ahead and do the 2 line first.
Okay. Janma karma cha vishvatman ajasya kartur atmanaha.
Tiriyan nrusi su yadah su.
Tiryan rishishu yadahasu.
Tad atyanta vilambanam.
Tad atyanta vidambanam.
Very good. Anybody else? Lakshmi or Sritan, do you want to recite? Okay. Mihika is there?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So can you recite?
Dhamma karma cha vishwatman ajasya karturatmana tiryanrshishu yadushu tad atyanta vidambanam.
Very good. Anybody else?
Look on this side.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Prabhuji. Janma karma cha Vishwatman Ajasyaktura Atmanaha Tiryan Rishishu Yadhashu Tad Atyanta Vidambanam. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Very good. Anybody else? Omkar, you did?
Prabhuji, I did it.
Oh, okay. Who is there?
Shritan.
Sritan. Okay, all right. Anybody else wants to do it? Okay. So let's try to understand word to word in this verse. Some of the verses we need to understand. Okay. So who can read this word to word? Josna, can you read it?
Yes. So Janma means birth, karma, activity, cha, and Vishwa Atman, O soul of the universe, Ajasya of the unborn, Akatuhu of the inactive, Atmanaha of the vital energy, Tiryak animal, Nra human being, Rishishu in the sages, Yadashu in the water, that, Atyanta veritable, Vidambanam bewildering.
Very good. Okay, so Manhar, I would ask you to read this translation, please. Manhar.
Okay, Prabhuji. Of course, it is bewildering. Also, of the universe that you work through, you are inactive, and that you take birth. You are the vital force in the unborn. You yourself, the sun amongst animals, men, sages, and aquatics. Verily, this is bewildering. And Prabhuji, what does aquatics mean?
Aquatics means the living entity that lives in water, means fish, crocodile.
Prabhuji, aquatics like frogs, like frog live in water and land.
Those living entity lives in water called aquatics, aqua water, aquatics. You heard about aqua water?
Yeah.
So the Lord can take incarnation when he descends. Sometimes he descends in animal like Vara form, right? Sukar, you have like he also appeared as a mean fish avatar, like we learn many incarnations of Lord, right? Fish incarnation, Vara incarnation, like sometimes man, Ram, Krishna as a man, sometimes sages, right? Sometimes aquatic like fish. He also took a fish incarnation. So that is why.
Turtle.
And even like the turtle incarnation, I forgot the name.
What is that?
Oh, Kurma Avatar.
Kurma avatar, correct.
Nishima Avatar. Avatar.
Avatar is half man, half lion, right? Very good.
Buddha Avatar.
Exactly, right.
Kalki.
Balram.
Balram, yeah. Okay, so let's see in short, this verse 30, Kunti says, although you are unborn, actually Aja, we see in Shastra many times, Krishna refers Aja. Aja means to take birth and Aja means not to take birth. So he's also say Aja. Aja, why he call Aja? Because he doesn't take birth like us. Okay, he appear, So when he appears in the jail, Devki and Vasudev, so he appeared in 400 form. And then Devki requested him to turn into two-arm form, baby form, to do the Leela. So he appeared. He does not take birth like we take birth. Okay? So that is the difference. So Kunti says that even though you are unborn, Aja, okay, and inactive, okay, you take birth and perform activities in the form of animal. This is like we discuss about bear, man like Krishna Ram, and aquatic like fish, tortoise, kurma. This is very bewildering. The Lord only can be understood by his pure devotees easily. Otherwise, other people may surprise, what is this not going on? Can Lord be a fish? Can Lord be a kurma? It is like that. So people will not understand him properly in that sense. Okay. So this is what Kunti is glorifying Krishna's birth. Okay. So we go to the next one, which is 31. Kunti remembered the Lord Krishna's childhood.
How many verses in Kunti Sutra?
There are so many verses. Well, we have up to, I would say 43, up to 43, we have Kunti's prayer, in which she glorifies Krishna differently. So in this 31 verse, which is a long verse here, but this is very significant, especially in this Kartik month. This verse, Kunti describes the Damodar Leela actually, because when Kunti, visited Vrindavan, when she saw Krishna's pastime when Krishna was a child and she was remembering. And now part of his prayer is that Kunti remembers Lord Krishna's childhood pastime in Vrindavan. Okay, so I will just recite the verse first and then we'll go forward. Gopya dade tvai kruta gasidam tava yate dasasru kalila jana sambramaksham vaktram niniya bhayabhava nayasthitasya samam vimohayati bhirapi yat pibeti. You think you will be able to recite? I'll go line by line.
Okay.
Okay. So number one, it's little different tune than the other one is Anustup Chand. This is different chanda. Okay. So I will recite line by line and you can all recite after me. So I'm sure you will do it very good. Gopya dade tvai krutagasidam tavat.
Gopya tade tvayi krutagasidamatavat.
Again. Gopya dade tvai krutagasidam tavat.
Gopya tade tvayi krutagasidamatavat.
Yate dasasru kalilanjana sambramaksham.
Yate dasasru sambраmaksham.
Te dasasru kalilangajana sambramasam.
Yate dasasru kalilanyam.
Vaktram niniya bhayabhavanaya stitasya.
Vaktram neniya bhavya stasya.
Vaktram niniya bhayabhavanaya stitasya.
Vaktram neniya bhavya
Nam vimohaya.
samam vimohayati bhirapiyad bibheti.
Very good. So it is just like we sing in temple. Venum kavantam aravinda dalaya taksham. Like that. It is this tune in which we sing that thing. Yeah. Like another one is Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Radayesu Vilokayanti Yamasyama Sundaram
There is Govinda Amra Purusham.
Tamaham Bhajami. Yeah, that is the fourth line. Correct, Govinda. That is right. So this is the tune. So let's sing it again, okay? It is. I think you are doing good. So let's do it again. Gopya dade tvai krutaga sidam tavat. Yate dasasru kalilanjana sambramaksham. Vaktram niniya bhayabhavanaya stitasya. Tamam vimohayati birapiyad bibheti. Very good. Okay, who would like to recite?
Prabhuji, can Mukund go?
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Gopyade tvai kritagasidamatvadat yate dashashru kalina jana sambramaksham vaktram niniya bhaya bhavanayasti tasya samam vimohayati bhir apiyat vibheti. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Hare Krishna. Anybody else?
Me can Shritan go.
Yeah.
Gopya dade tvayi kritagasidamatavad yate dashasra kalilanjana sambramaksham vaktram niniya bhayabhava nayastitasya samam vimohayati birapiyad bibheti.
Very good. Anybody else? Jyotsna. Huh? Who is that?
Manhar.
Okay, Manhar, go ahead.
Gopya dade tvaya kriga sidama tavad yate dasharu kalina jana samrakmaksham vaktram niniya haya bhavanaya siddhi saya sa mam vimoyati phir apet bibheti.
Very good. Anybody else? Who would like? Jyotsna, would you like to recite?
Could I repeat after?
Yeah. You want to repeat after me?
Yeah.
Gopya dade tvai krutaga sidam tavat.
Gopya dade tvayi kritagasi damatavad.
Yate dasasru kalilanjana sambramaksham.
Yate dasasru kalilangana sambramaksham.
Lanjana. Kalilanjana.
Kalilanjana sambramaksham.
Vaktram niniya bhayabhavanaya sthitasya.
Vaktram niniya bhayabhavanaya stititasya.
Samam vimohyati bhirapi yad bibeti.
Samam vimohaiti birapiyad pipeti.
Bibeti.
Can Govinder read the translation?
Yeah, you will. Just 1 second. Anybody else wants to recite? Is Mehika there?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, go ahead.
Gopya dade tvai girtagasitamadavat yate dasashru kalilanjana sambramaksham vaktram niniya bhayabhavanaya stitasya samam vimohayati bhirapi yad bibeti.
Very good. Okay, so first of all, Govinda will read translation, but I would request Mihika to read the word-to-word translation here.
Okay, Prabhuji. Gopi, the cowherd lady Yashoda, Adade took up Twai on your Krutagasi, creating disturbances by breaking the butter pot, Dama rope, Tavat at that time, Ya that which, they your, Dasa situation, Ashru Kalila overflooded with tears, Anjana ointment, Sambrava perturbed, Aksham eyes, Vaktram face, Niniya downwards, Bhaya Bhavanaya by thoughts of fear, Stitasya of the situation, Satat that, Mam me, Vimohayati bewilders, Bihi api even fear personified, Yat whom Bibeti is afraid.
Very good. Okay, now Govinda, translation.
Okay. My dear Krishna, Yashoda took up a rope to bind you when you committed an offense and your
Perturbed.
perturbed eyes overflooded with tears,
Very good.
which was washed from the massacre from your eyes, and you were afraid. Your fear personified to afraid of you. This sight is bewildered to me.
Bewildering to me.
Bewildering to me.
Very good. All right. So, you all remember probably the scene because this month is Damodar and tomorrow is Deepavali. Everybody knows that, right? Diwali. So, what Kunti describes here
At
is,
Deepavali, that time Krishna was bound.
yeah, Damodar Leela. So, this is what the
That's tomorrow is a special day also.
part of the Leela Kunti is describing to glorify Lord Krishna, that he says that, people are bewildered, but I have seen you when when you were a child, So this is what he's saying here. So in this verse, now Kunti remembered Lord Krishna's childhood pastime in Vrindavan, which happened on the day of Diwali, right? Which will be tomorrow, in this cosmos. So she said, my dear Krishna, when you created disturbance, what kind of disturbance he was creating in Vrindavan? Because he was stealing the butter. And one time, when his mother decided to churn butter herself, I'll go through that thing in a minute. But At that time also she broke the pot, So a lot of disturbances she was. So Kunti says that when you created disturbance, Mother Yashoda took a rope to bind you. At that time, I saw your eyes over flooded with tears, which was mascara from your eyes, and you were fearful. That sight is bewildering to me. So that particular pastime is described as Damodar Leela. As Govinda mentioned, that Krishna was bound with the rope, with the ukal, there. So I'll describe little pastime in very brief here. With one time, what happened on this day of Deepavali, Mother Yashoda was getting many complaints from the gopis that Krishna is stealing butter from our houses. So she decided to churn butter herself so that Krishna will not steal anymore. So while she was churning, you know how to churn butter, you put this curd into the pot and, with the churning rod, you move it back and forth, and that's how you churn and get the butter out of it from the curd. So Lord Krishna came to her and demanded to suck her breast milk. So when Mother Yashoda was busy churning, Krishna all of a sudden woke up and came, and then he said that, oh, I'm hungry, I want to drink your milk. So then Yashoda was very compassionate, so she started feeding breast milk to Krishna. But what happened at the same time, on the stove, there was a milk that Yashoda Mata put. That milk was of special cow called, Padmagandha cows, very special milk. So Mother Yashoda wants to boil that milk. So she put it on stove. And what happened, because Mother Yashoda was busy feeding Krishna, the milk on the oven was start boiling. So at that time, when she saw that, she left Krishna aside, and then she went there to save the milk from flowing, overflowing. But Krishna did not like it, because he became angry. And then he took a piece of a stone lying over there, and he broke the butter pot in which Yashoda was churning the butter. And then he ran away from that place. So meanwhile, Mother Yashoda came back, and she saw the broken pot, and she didn't find him there. So she definitely knew that it is his work, whatever is done, Krishna has done it. So she concluded that this is the work of Krishna. So she went to search for him, and with a stick to punish him. So she found him on a big wooden grinding mortar, and he was feeding butter to the monkeys and other birds and everybody. So what he did is, because he was a small boy, he could not reach it. He used that grinding mortar, put it upside down, and he climbed on it, and then he reached the pot that was hanging from the ceiling, in which there is butter. So Krishna somehow there managed to get that butter, and he distributed among the monkeys and birds and all other friends that came over there. So Mother Yashoda was angry. She has a stick with her in her hand, and she ran after him. So when Krishna saw, so that is what the exact scene that is Yashoda is describing here in this verse. So
Soda. Kunti.
sorry, Yashoda, yeah. So she took a stick in her hand and ran after him to punish him. So when Krishna saw his mother coming, and he was crying, actually, he got down from the mortar and ran away. And But what happens is running. But after a while, Mother Yasoda was also running behind him. But finally, when Krishna found that his mother is tired, so he just stopped, So finally, Yasoda caught him and decided to bind him, So she could not bind him even with so many ropes. So what happening as she was trying to bind it, was always 2 fingers short and she could not bind it. So she got the ropes from everywhere, from all the houses, from all the gopis, like that. So, but finally, when Radharani sends a rope from Barsana, then he was bound, But then she was by that time tired also. And then Krishna also mercifully, he got compassion on her mother because she was tired anyway. And now when she got the rope from Radharani, he was bound by the love of Radha actually, and also the love of Yasoda. So Kunti was remembering this scene, and that was bewildering to her. But actually praised the Yasoda's unique position that she could control even the all-powerful Lord as her beloved child. Yasoda was pleased because see, Krishna is all-powerful, but even then he was controlling Krishna. So in that respect, Yasoda was also has a unique position, because she became a mother of Krishna. She got the Supreme Personality of Godhead under her control. So this is the glory of Lord Krishna. And in his prayer, or Yasoda in her prayer, describes that pastime. She remembers, and describes what happened on the day of Diwali and these things. Okay. So, any questions so far? Anybody have any questions?
Prabhuji, I have one question.
Okay. Let
Why,
me, you know,
why was the rope always 2 fingers short?
why was what?
Why was the rope always 2 fingers short?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Very good question. So it indicates that 2 finger short means 1 finger is for making endeavor to please Lord, and second finger is to indicate the Lord's mercy. So what it means is anything we do, we have to make an endeavor. So Yasoda mother Yasoda make endeavor here. She tried and tried and tried again. And then, but at the same time, only endeavor will not work. You have to have Krishna's mercy also. Then that particular work will be completed. So the lesson that the teaching we can take from this pastime is that in the material world also, for anything we want to gain, we have to work hard. But at the same time, by working hard will not get you the result. You also have to have a mercy of Krishna to get that work finished. You see? Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
You're welcome. Okay, anybody else have any other question? Okay, so we'll see you now next week and we'll move forward. Very interesting prayers.
I have a question.
Yeah, okay.
So my question is like, I know how a wooden mortar looks like, but like, what is a wooden mortar?
What is look like wooden mortar?
No, what is a wooden mortar?
Okay, it's a mortar means it's a like a sometimes wood, and it has a hole in it. So it is used for grinding the grain or grinding sometimes the spices like chili and all this kind of. The village
Okay.
they use this.
Thank you.
Yeah, grinding pot you can translate, but that is mortar called grinding pot. Okay. All right. So thank you, everyone, and see you next week.